Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, January 17th, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi, and our energy mantra for today is I align my actions with my sense of soul responsibility. And oh my goodness, we have such a big week ahead. We also have such a huge, big full moon today to dig into. So we're going to jump into all of this. I do want to start just briefly going over this week ahead because big shift. The big shift that we have this week is the nodes. So the nodes will be moving out of Gemini and Sagittarius, where they've been for the last about year and a half, into Taurus and Scorpio, where they will be for the next year and a half. The North Node can be like the head of the dragon, or kind of, I like to look at it, I think this is easier for everybody to understand. Our North Star, our collective North Star, the direction we want to lean into, move into. The South Node, which will be moving into Scorpio, is the energy, it can be called like a bottomless pit energy, or a place where we fall into old patterns that need to be shifted. Now, we do want to take lessons from the South Node and utilize them for the North Node. So, in tomorrow's scope, I will go deep into that, into these shifts. But for now, pay attention. Last day of the nodes in Gemini and Sagittarius, the North Node in Gemini, reminding us, stay curious. That's why I've been saying it at the end of the scopes for the last year and a half. Stay curious. Keep your mind open. Yes, take your wisdom, South Node and Sagittarius, with you. But stay open. Be a student in this world, of the world, because that's going to help serve you moving forward. I would also say with the North Node finishing up in Gemini, empower your mind. And this doesn't mean let your mind run havoc everywhere. It's like, how is my mind serving me? How can I utilize my mind to serve me? So keep that in mind as we move through the day. We also have Uranus. Uranus will be shifting going direct on Tuesday. So I always tell my sensitive clients when we have like major electrical energies, Uranus going retrograde or direct is one of those electrical energies. So between that and the full moon, you may feel very tired and wired. And again, Uranus brings mental energy. So between like the North Node energy and Uranus energy, we've got a lot of that mental overstimulating energy. So taking time to quiet your mind, and again, be responsible with your mind will help. What else do we have going on this week? Sun moving out of Capricorn, finishing up, and moving into Aquarius. That'll be Wednesday evening or early Thursday, depending where you live. We'll dig into that when that comes. Speaking of mental energies this week, on Sunday, we're going to have the Sun and Mercury conjunct. Mercury is currently retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So we will dig into those lessons, dig into shifting our energies around our vision, around our vibration. But again, that mental energy will spike up with that, as well as the mental energy spiking a little bit with Sun and Aquarius. There's a lot of these little mental spikes coming in right now. Final thing to be aware of is Mars is going to be finishing this week in Sagittarius. So near the end of the week, we're going to have some strong Mars energy. Our anger and frustration, if we have not gotten it out with the full moon, may spike with that. Also our passion. So do be aware of that at the end of the week. Whew. So let's talk about today, this big full moon in the sign of Cancer. The full moon reaches its peak at 3:48 p.m. Pacific time. It is at 27 degrees Cancer. 27 is 9 energy. 9 has that completion energy. It also correlates in astrology to Mars. So here we have the Mars energy again. But action, taking action. And so with this full moon in Cancer, how can you take nurturing action? Now, it's very interesting that this full moon is directly opposite, almost, Pluto. We have Pluto at 26 degrees. So Pluto is a big part of this full moon. Pluto, this is setting us up, I think, for the South Node in Scorpio. Pluto is where our fears come to life, where we have to face our shadows, where we have to face the dark parts of ourselves, where we have to face our wounds, and where we're called to rise in empowerment. And so keep that in mind with this full moon, even as you're nurturing yourself, even as you're being gentle with the feelings that come up. Where are you being called into some level of empowerment moving forward? And the timer on the oven agrees. I want to dig into these Sabian symbols because they're interesting. And I say Sabian symbols because I feel like there's balance between where the sun is and the moon. So the moon, sorry, I'm going to start with the moon Sabian symbol, is a violent storm in a canyon filled with expensive homes. And the keynote is a confrontation with social upheaval demanding the reconsideration of static values. Values are a big part of what we're moving into with the North Node energy. The South Node energy in Scorpio, facing the fears of change, facing the fears around our cycles, around our rising energies. Hold on. Jojo, will you turn off the oven timer? Thank you. It'll keep beeping and making me crazy. The Sabian symbol for where the sun is at 27 degrees feels like how we're called to move through any of the fear and these changes. So 27 Capricorn is, just hit timer. Thank you. Mercury is retrograde. Capricorn, 27 degrees, is pilgrims climbing the steep steps leading to a mountain shrine. And the keynote is the ascent of the individualized consciousness to the highest realizations reached by the spiritual leaders of its culture. So this is a call to keep rising in our faith, in our personal spiritual process, even as we face the fears that storms can bring. Whether it's an emotional storm, whether it's a physical storm, whether it's, the storms of life, being able to keep rising in and through our faith, in and through our personal spiritual process. Now, part of that rising is the ability to be present in and through that energy. And that is what this full moon in Cancer is inviting us into. Can you be present for these changes? Can you be present in and through these energies? And Cancer brings all the feels. Sometimes the feels are like, laughing hysterically, and other times the feels are crying hysterically, and sometimes it's, all the things in between there. The Pluto process in this is reminding us there is transformation available for us. There is the Phoenix process of, I'm picturing the little Phoenix actually in Harry Potter as I was saying that, burns itself to the ground and then becomes something new. The alchemy that is available to us in and through this. So keep that in mind as we move through these full moon feels, because it feels like a lot. Besides this full moon, the moon in Cancer is making all of the connections. We're going to have a connection to Neptune. Pay attention to your dreams. Your dreams are trying to help you move through these energies. Your dreams are trying to help you face these fears. Your dreams are trying to help you notice where you're being called to show up in faith. And to listen to your intuition to help guide you through what can sometimes feel like narrow tunnels. Right before the full moon, the moon and Pluto will oppose each other. So again, you may feel some of that crash. You might feel some of that Pluto. You may feel puny or small. I feel like sometimes Pluto is where we feel our most small within ourselves, but where we have the ability to become giants, so to speak, to become empowered giants as we face these energies. So pay attention, again, where you feel small, where you feel puny, how can you nurture yourself there and recognize it as part of your transformation process. After the full moon, the only thing we've got going on is the moon shifting into Leo to help move us through these next shifty days. Moon into Leo is a beautiful time to reconnect to the heart, reconnect to the inner child. So keep that in mind. After all the process, how can you align yourself with joy? Let joy be how you complete your Monday as we move into the Tuesday shifts. Now, I've got some really, really, really interesting cards. I'm going to start with these because there is so much mental process. We have got the guilt card and the politics card. With the guilt card, watch where your mind is trying to take you deeper than you need to be. With the politics card, watch where you're not quite facing what you need to face in and through these energies. There's like a balance in between here. Not having to go so deep and also not wanting to even go there. I love the third card with that little thing is maturity. It's finding your balance. Where is maturity requiring you to step up? Is it in I'm not going to spiral myself anymore? Or is it in I have to be willing to face this energy? Besides this, I have two queens. Queen of Cups and Queen of Swords. And I think that we have an opportunity to see how are we going to face this? Are we going to shut ourselves and trap ourselves in rigidity and overthinking, or can we be receptive to this process and move through with as much grace as possible? With as much grace as possible is how I do try to approach everything. I don't always succeed, but that is always like my promise to myself. I'm going to do this with as much grace for myself as possible. And that for sure feels like this Queen of Cups energy, moving through these emotions rather than getting trapped in the mind and trapped in stinking thinking. So, leaving that there, I'm going to say this is probably wrapping up your last opportunity to buy a 2022 reading. They have been a lot. I have a few more booked this week and next week. If you would like to get in on this, now would be a really great time. Email me for that. You can always book a regular reading if you'd like to dig into your nodes or anything else. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and stay curious. Namaste.